Disclaimer, I am not sponsored by nor am I affiliated with any of the companies mentioned in this video. All opinions represented are mine and mine alone. They do not represent anyone besides myself. Your opinions may differ. That's okay. Try this stuff out for yourself in order to find out if it works for you.
Hi everyone, it's me, Krista. Welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. If not, welcome to my little art corner on YouTube for the very first time. Today we're going to be doing the SketchBox unboxing and first impressions of the March SketchBox. Super excited. Last month's box was a lot of fun, and it's always nice to kind of see what we're going to get. As always, we have a featured artist for the month that is on the outside box, and their work is displayed. This is by Drawlander, at Drawlander on Instagram. And it's really cool. It's just black and white, big old marker drawing, very loose, very trippy. There's a lot of stuff going on. Always very cool. I could sit here for hours and just look at it and try to figure out the different pieces of what is actually on here. Very nice. Now let's get her open and see what we got on the inside. Just like with any box, we have our little insert that has the items that come in the box, and also the normal thing of looking for directions. Sketchbox School is in session. Get sketchbox.com/school. This is so that if you aren't exactly sure what you want to do with the project, this will have tips and hints. I don't use this, at least for this video, because this is all about first impressions, and I kind of don't want to have an idea of what I'm doing going in. I want to just play with it and see what's going to happen. It's part of the fun for me. We also have another insert that includes the featured artist of the month that is actually using the items that come inside this box. It looks like we're using watercolor. I don't even have to look at the supplies. I can kind of tell by what's presented here. It's a beautiful painting. It really is. Very soft, some wonderful lines. It's very nice. I will probably be inserting a photo of this along with the description of the artist, because they usually include a biography, kind of their artist statement, and a little bit more about them. This is, again, something I really appreciate about this box is the exposure that it gives to artists you might not be familiar with. You can kind of see how they used what's in this box and get kind of an idea of ways to do that.
And once again, the March featured artist is E. Lee Smith. You've already seen a lot of Erin's art. She's our videographer and the one responsible for our Sketchbox School videos. We wanted to feature her art this month so you can follow along with Sketchbox School to create along with the artist who created it. Cool. Go figure. You guys should really check that out, by the way. I might do it later, kind of figure out how to use this box better. Erin is a filmmaker living in NYC who uses art making as a means to clarify ideas and also as a therapeutic practice. She is the voice and the hands behind our Sketchbox School videos and hopes to show that art making isn't just for professionals, but for everyone. That is an admirable mission. Her film work centers on ideas surrounding psychology, location, desolation, and transcendence. She often sketches her shots before she films and has found that drawing enters all aspects of her life. Check out more of her work on Vimeo at vimeo.com/eleesmith. Very nice. We will actually probably be showing that link, and then once again I'll just show the link for the school stuff. It's nice that they have the person who does most of their videos on here. Very cool.
We also have this super cute sticker that has the Sketchbox logo along with a figure and an explosion of flowers coming from the head. Very nice. It looks like they're as ready for spring as I am. I don't know about y'all. Winter was mild for a while, and then it hit full force, and I'm just ready for spring. It's very cute. I'm probably gonna stick it on I have a little piece of furniture that I keep pencils and whatnot in, and I put a bunch of stickers around it from different artists and from different art snacks boxes and sketchbox boxes, and just, I'm basically a child. I put stickers on everything. It's super fun. So, for the first piece of actual art supplies in the SketchBox Premium March box, it is definitely watercolor. These are some SketchBox signature watercolor pencils. The retail price is $11.99. This month is all about watercolor pencils. We've been developing this product for a little over a year, and we couldn't be happier with the result. The pigments are concentrated and they react with water gracefully. We love these pencils because they allow our artists a ton of versatility. Wet a brush and lift color right from the tip of the pencil, shave off some powder from the tip to create beautiful washes of color, or use them dry to add detail and depth. Very cool. And basically this little description here is almost exactly the same as what's right here. They remind you to tag your art with hashtag Sketchbox on all social media, and it was made in Indonesia. It looks like there are 6 watercolor pencils in here. And this gives a better idea of the colors that actually come in this set. Looks like a lot of pinks, a couple of purples, and a peach color. So very nice spring collection here. It'd be hard to read because they use that metallic writing, but just Sketchbox signature. It's really lightweight. Looks like they can sharpen to a pretty darn good point there. Next we have the Kuretake Zig Cambio brush pen. Normal retail price of $9.80. We found this pen while traveling to Japan recently. It's one of the best brush pens we've ever used. Unlike other brush pens, there is a flow regulation in place to ensure the perfect saturation on the tip. No messy spills from pumping too hard.
And here are the instructions for how to use that pen. Twist off the pen nib, take off the yellow ring, and retwist the pen nib into the cartridge. The ink will slowly flow into the bristles after a couple of minutes. See the illustration above. And there's the illustration.
Okay, as you see there, it has a pretty nice nib, very brushy. So basically, what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to twist off that part. I'm gonna have the instructions in front of me a little bit. Take off the yellow ring. That looks like the yellow ring. Okay. And retwist pen nib into cartridge. Then I'm assuming you should let gravity do the work a little bit. Actually, this was probably supposed to come off too. It says to take off the yellow ring, which I would assume is that part, but that seems like that would be stopping the ink as well, because there's not really a hole for it to go through. So that's probably what it is. So we will let that kind of seep, because you can see the ink is moving slowly towards where it's supposed to be, because it's coming from the barrel and going this way. We are going to kind of let that set while we are looking at the rest of the stuff, so it's ready for when I use it. But just so you know, looks like you gotta take off this little ring part and this little kind of cap piece, because it doesn't really say that in the instructions, at least not that I could read, but this probably needs to be off of there too. That's just kind of common sense though. I read instructions, yay, like I don't every time. And we got a couple more watercolor pencils. Woohoo! We got Lyra Rembrandt aquarelle colored pencils. They retail at $2.20 each. SketchBox and Rembrandt must have a kind of deal going on, because I'm pretty sure last month some of the oil pastels were Rembrandt. Good for them. Means we get good supplies. I'm cool with it. The finest pigments in the 4mm diameter colored leads can be dissolved almost completely with water. They allow fascinating techniques for creating art from opaque colors to transparent shades. The brilliance and light fastness of these colors is of the highest standard and works well with our new SketchBox signature watercolor pencils. We included a light orange and black to allow a broader range of color in darker shades. So, once again, feel pretty good. Say Rembrandt Aquarelle, just got the nice simple casing, made in Germany, obviously, and looks like they could sharpen up pretty well. Feels like watercolor pencil. Doesn't even feel that different than a normal colored pencil. I like the fact that we do have a deeper black to be able to kind of mix in if you want to, and I think the orange will be good too. Got some good color choices. I have no idea what the heck I'm going to make with it, but that's a different story. We also have a Princeton Aqua Elite 1/4 inch stroke, retail price of normally $14.45. I do have a couple of Princeton brushes that typically come in something like this where it's part of a subscription box. They're pretty good brushes. I bought a couple when they're on clearance occasionally at Michael's too, and some other stuff like that. I am hell on my brushes. I am really, really bad about taking care of them. I tend to just buy cheap ones personally. I understand that everybody's different, and there are a lot of people who can buy the more expensive brushes and it's fine because they aren't going to fuck them up, basically. But I'm just not one of those people. For some reason, specifically brushes, I'm really terrible about. It's just how I am. I do notice that the photo of this brush on the actual description of what comes in, it looks like it's an angle brush. This is a flat head. But yeah, we'll read the description now. We don't know about you, but we like our watercolor brushes extra thirsty. And this is the best synthetic we've ever found. It's incredible at lifting and holding water and pigment. I'm not going to make a joke about it being thirsty. You guys can do that in the comments if you want. Make all the thirsty jokes you want down there. It's fine. And they are right. That does feel a little thirstier than I think I'm used to. Most watercolor brushes I've used are super soft. Like super duper soft. It might just be something they put in it to keep it safer during shipping or during displays, because sometimes they'll put like a little waxiness or something on it. Hopefully that's all it is. It holds well though. Like it feels nice in the hand because of the way they have this shape going on, where it kind of juts out a little bit and goes back in. And like I said, this is their stroke brush. It is part of their Aqua Elite collection. And it's 4850 ST. Nice and light. Feels like you can do a lot with it. Should be cool. But yeah, just for an example, this is another, this is technically a watercolor brush. I use it for acrylics too, for some smoother transitions and stuff. This did not come with the box, but the level of stiffness feels the same between this brush that has little pieces of acrylic dried into it and the brand new one. But I know everyone has different textural preferences when they do use paintbrushes, and depending on techniques and all that fun stuff, that's all going to change. I just know that this one, once it's clean, will feel softer than that one. And lastly, from Legion Paper, we got Custom Aqua Hot Press Block. Retail price $12.91. A smoother texture than their cold press, this block is perfect for watercolor pencils, allowing you the ability to mix and blend colors with ease before it sets into the paper. This will be interesting for me because I typically like using cold press paper with watercolor when I actually do use watercolor. It's not my favorite medium, but I like the cold press because it has the tooth. It's a little rougher, so it can hold on to the color quite a bit better. I'm sure that some of the techniques you can get on this will be a lot nicer and smoother, and the transitions will glide and all that good stuff. So that might be cool. I'm actually really excited to try this paper. Because paper. Yeah, that's smooth, man. It's super smooth. It feels like they're pretty thick too. Nice. Cool. They're spoiling me with paper lately because last month I got some small like oil and stuff, and this month I got this. These will be great for doing little studies and all that good stuff. Sweet. Like I'm most excited about paper. I feel like most artists have that problem though. Like I'm obsessed with paper. It's just fun. I want to touch it, want to use it, want to play with it. Okay, so now for just a quick price breakdown. The set of the watercolor pencils, which is just these ones here. I put these in the tin just to make my life a little easier and keep everything kind of together. But these, that's $12. The Take Zig Cambio brush pen is $9.80. These are $2.20 each, so that is $4.40 for both. The brush is $14.45, and the paper is normally $12.91. So yeah, the Spence box is most definitely worth it because it's what, like $35 for the premium. Original retail price of all this stuff is $50.55. So yep, more for your money, yay! I'm sure this was actually cheaper than what they state because they actually make it, but we're gonna pretend like that's not a thing right now. Makes me feel like I'm saving money, so I am happy. Now we have to think about what we want to do. This is gonna be difficult.
Because of the colors and because of the spring theme, I really wanted to do flowers. But then I went, Krista, no, you cannot do flowers again. You've done enough flowers for this darn channel. Calm down. Then I thought about doing like a sunset sky, but that's kind of boring to me. I shouldn't say boring. It's a good way to test out the products, but I wanted to do something a little different, something I don't normally do. So I decided to do a drawing of a girl in a headscarf, kind of inspired by old school tattoos, like traditional tattooing, but my own style, my own interpretation of it. I used the light peach colored pencil that is from the SketchBox brand. I don't think they actually have names on the colors now that I think about it, but it's kind of like a pale orange or light peach. I figured since that is the lightest color in the kit, and since it is a kind of skin tony color, that I would use that for the sketch because all the other ones seem like they are darker, and that if there are any issues, I can cover it up that way. Still using that peach pencil for the sketch and kind of laying down the bones of what the actual drawing is going to be. I did a lot more detail work on the sketch than I would normally do. And by detail work, I mean like actually putting in the lines for the hair a little bit more and everything. I was contemplating doing more of an Art Nouveau style with the hair, but I kind of decided against it later. Here, I am using the kind of dusty rose color for the background, and then using water to blend it out with that brush. It does dissolve pretty easily. It's not quite as pigmented as I thought it would be, but I think that's more because of it being kind of more of a pastel tone than anything to do with the quality of it. And just a heads up, if you've never used watercolor pencils before, or you've never gone over a watercolor painting on paper with any kind of pencil, don't do it while it's wet. Don't be stupid like me. Don't do it. I know it can mess it up, and it kind of does a little bit. I was able to kind of salvage it a little bit later. Don't do that. Don't make the same mistakes. I knew better than to do it, but I'm impatient. For the hair, I started doing a base with kind of the purple, the deeper purple and the pale pink, because I wanted that to be kind of the highlights for the hair. I am going to do a lot of black, like that pencil. That black pencil is super pigmented and super black. I really like it a lot. That is not the SketchBox brand one, that is the Schwartz brand. I really enjoy the depth, especially when I add water, how dark and deep it got. It's a good pencil. I do think that I'm going to use that black pencil in a lot more different projects later on. I can see myself using it with other watercolor projects, with some acrylic projects, and even with some gouache ones, especially if it's on paper. I think it'll be really nice for those kind of things, especially if I'm going for like a monochromatic color scheme. And I'm going in with some of the darker pinks and purples to get some shading into the skin tone and face, trying to keep a lot of the pink around the cheeks area, and just slowly layering and building. I know with watercolor you want to leave a lot of white on the paper. I do kind of mess that up a little bit later, just because it's what I do. I always get a little overzealous, especially since it is watercolor colored pencils. My brain started switching to colored pencil mode more than watercolor mode, which is nice. I do like that you can get a lot of different effects with it, because you can get a really soft watercolor effect, especially because you can see at that point in the background, but you can also use them and build them up and use them more like a rough colored pencil. That orange is also super pigmented. I would say both of the Schwartz pencils, there is a very noticeable difference in the level of pigmentation between the orange and the black, which are the Schwartz pencils, and then the SketchBox ones. It's not that the SketchBox ones are bad or anything like that. There's just a definite pigment difference, and you can tell that one company has been perfecting their formula quite a bit longer than the other. That's all. The watercolor pencils did play well together too, though, and I ended up using that orange in certain skin tone areas to kind of brighten it up, make it feel more alive. I like doing that with a lot of skin tones, especially paler ones. I like adding in a little bit of yellow or orange. With deep skin tones, it works really, really well to use like a darker orange that has a little bit of brightness, or a kind of crimson color, because it just brings that warmth and, once again, that life to the skin tone. Also, random color I use in skin tones, especially colored pencil drawings. Neon pink. You wouldn't think it would look good, but it actually works pretty well when you blend it. Go figure, right? And at that point in the drawing, I felt like I messed up that eyebrow, so I ended up extending the bangs and kind of just altering the hairstyle slightly. Okay. The one thing I did have a couple of issues with when doing this drawing was that marker pen that came with it. The Kuretake Cambio brush pen, the ink just did not seem to flow very easily, and I don't know if it's because I didn't use a lot of water on certain points for the drawing. A lot of it I did use as a more colored pencil and use the watercolor more as a base, but that marker gave me a couple issues. I did notice once I had it stored kind of upside down in a cup for a little bit that it did flow a little bit better. It just wasn't giving me exactly the level of control that I wanted, and it wasn't flowing as smoothly as I wanted it to. And with this paper being as smooth as it is, it should have flowed pretty darn smoothly across it. I was able to use it. I was able to get it to work. Maybe when you guys use it, you should probably just have it upside down for a long period of time. I also brought in a Faber-Castell Pit marker pen in white to try to do some of the highlights a little bit better. That was a mistake. I should have just left the white on the paper because it just looked better. It got a little muddy and dirty when I was using that pen. But yeah, the rest of this is just going to be me doing more layering, kind of building up some of the tones a little bit better, and overall playing around with it. In conclusion, I liked this month's box. It was fun. It's something I don't usually use. I haven't used watercolor pencils in a while. Typically, I'll use like watercolor pigment, and then if I use any kind of colored pencil over it, it's typically actual just normal colored pencil, or I'll use watercolor markers, or another marker or acrylic paint or something. There I also did try to use a white Sharpie water-based marker to get some highlights in. That wasn't working either. It's probably just because of the pigment of the colored pencils. Sometimes they just don't play nicely with that stuff. But back to what I was saying, the rest of this is basically going to be layering, doing some heavier outline lines and all that good stuff. So I'm just going to kind of give an overall review of everything. Like I said, I like this month's box. It was a lot of fun being able to use a lot of media that I don't normally use. The color scheme's not usually something I would do either. These are a lot softer colors than I normally use. I tend to use very like vibrant, bold colors, typically primaries. Like I use blue, red, and yellow in a lot of paintings that I do on my own time. So it was nice having kind of a different color scheme and playing around with it this way. I liked the SketchBox signature watercolor pencils. I thought they worked pretty well for what they are. I did like the Lyra Rembrandt aquarelle colored pencils more just because they're more pigmented, and I feel like they went a little bit further. The paintbrush was pretty good, worked well, worked like a normal watercolor brush, can't complain about it. It was nice. It didn't shed a lot, it didn't do anything rough, so that worked pretty well. And the paper was really nice too. It was really soft, smooth application for most of the stuff. The only thing, like I said earlier, that I had some issues with was that Kuretake Zig Cambio brush pen. Maybe it's just because not enough ink has flowed through it. Maybe I just need to kind of play around with it more. And maybe this just wasn't the right project for it because I needed some tighter lines. But I might try it later with some other stuff and get a better idea of how it works. Once again, really like this month's box. It was a lot of fun. I'm actually really enjoying doing these SketchBox videos and playing around with the stuff they have. If you liked this video, please hit that like button. If you have any questions, comments, feelings, concerns about this video or this month's box, please leave them down below. Let me know if you got this, how you used it, what you found to be an easier application. Come on, teach me some stuff. I want to learn. I want to know. I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be. I have been doing these SketchBox videos once a month for a couple months now. If you want to see more like this, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for your time. Hopefully you had fun. And hopefully I will hear from you soon. Bye!